of Stage North and the Peace River Zone Theater. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Tob. How are you?
I'm good. How are you, sir?
I am good. I'm
Recovering.
That's a great way to say it.
You had a very busy week last week. You and the many volunteers and artists and performers and people who came to see all the shows, because we hosted, and by we I mean Fort St. John, Theater BC's Mainstage Festival for the first time ever was here in town.
It was awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, and I didn't get to see nearly as much of it as I would have liked, but my wife went to all the shows as well as performing in Bluebirds. And it was even sort of the contact, the sort of second or third hand feelings I got from it. What a week it was, eh?
Yeah, it was really, and your wife did amazing.
Yeah,
It was really neat to see. For those of you who don't know, we had 6 community shows from around the province. And at the beginning of that particular show, of the Stage North one, they hand out Kleenexes, and people are like, I don't think. And then by the end, everyone was oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So she nailed it.
It was weird, particularly in that show, because there was a standing ovation and everyone's bawling too,
Yeah.
right? So we're like, oh, it was so good.
I love you.
I just wanted to start really with your reflection on the week it was when we were playing, again, Fort St. John and mostly you, but playing host to all these theater companies who came to town, along with some of their fans and just fans of theater in BC as well, who came from all over to see the best of community theater in the entire province here in Fort St. John.
And it was, I think, the adjudicator who was a big part of the week, he once said, oh, what a delight. And that's what it was. It was a delight to host. I got to reflect at the end gala and said, it's weird, but the province gave us the gift of hosting. So we really got to open our doors and say, have you seen Fort St. John? And it was weird because every group basically that came here, something went wrong on their way up. One of their people drove from Kamloops, hit a deer, totaled their car. And we're like, you must hate them. He's like, no, it's a part of the adventure. The trailer broke down. And everyone said, got a really nice little corner of the province here. And we had our volunteers, we called the Green Lanyards, because they had on this. They said, your people are so nice. And actually, one of the coolest things is one of our participants stopped and said, I think I could move here. And I was like, well, it's pretty. And she said, no, everyone holds a door open for you, and everyone's so friendly. So we walked away from that week. We made a bunch of friends, but we really highlighted the awesomeness of Fort St. John, and we got a lot of compliments back going, what a neat town, which I think was just the best. Couldn't ask for more.
Right. And it was really fun, again, kind of watching from a distance, all the stuff you and the team were doing to sort of promote Fort St. John. Here's some places to go for hikes and to see natural beauty, places to eat, places to spend time in between shows and stuff, right? You guys really put out all the stops. And I wanted to give you a moment to talk about the volunteers and your team itself, right? I mean, how many volunteers were they? And just, give them a moment if you like.
So it was neat. So on that, we organized Mainstage, and Emery Micah was one of our organizers, and she made a spreadsheet. And I think there's like 65 positions that you could fill throughout the whole week. And we had too many volunteers. I think we had like 75 show up and go, so we didn't have enough spots for volunteers. And that was exquisite. That's amazing. The other giant thing that I'd like to say is we had a lot of other organizers who've done really good jobs in their main stages around. They said, we have great times. How did you get so many volunteers? And I said, the wild thing is, I just said, please. And they showed up. So we consistently were complimented by how energetic our city is and how willing people are to come. And those volunteers, I just learned this morning that one of them was driving, saw a Theater BC member, pulled over, immediately was like, I'm a green volunteer. Do you need a ride? And they just said they had a lot of fun just getting to know. So it of course, it's a work and it's a lot of time, but the volunteers made this city friendly. So I could not have done it without them. Everyone complimented me. I could just go, no, I'm just a mirror of my volunteers. They did so much.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I want to take a minute to talk about the Stage North production, Bluebirds, which was the Peace River Zone entry into Mainstage. And I apologize. I don't mean this to sound rude. So if it does, I do apologize. But I was just sort of happy that it was our production that was going to be in this. And I was like, great. No expectations beyond that. They're going to put on a good show. You're going to see a lot of other great theater. Wonderful. 4 major awards at the awards gala, including runner-up for Best Production. Talk about that for a second, Ted. Seeing Emery and Stevie and Heather Truscott, who designed the costumes, go up and had their moment to say, this year you were the best in British Columbia in community theater at what you did.
I like that you framed it that way too, because when we had no expectations coming into this week because it was the first time we've hosted it. So it's like, what are we going to do? And then when we walked away, that was really neat because sometimes in Fort St. John, we go, well, we're neat, but we're Fort St. John. And sometimes in the arts community, we can go, well, we're cool, but we're no Vancouver, or we're no this. And that's not to shade Vancouver. They've got some amazing art. It was really gratifying as the president of Stage North, but also a friend to these women, to go, we've been telling you for a while how good you are. And in true humbleness, you've gone, I'm okay. And so to see that a local show with no expectations was recognized for how good they are, it was really going, it's kind of like when your best friend tells you that you're awesome and you're like, yeah, but you're my best friend. And that doesn't take away. But to have someone else go, no, you are, was really, it just made, for me, it made the Fort St. John acting scene and viewed, and the province went, yeah, you guys are good, and you have permission to think that. And each season's a new season, but it was kind of neat to go, guys, we have something here, and it's exciting. And that's to say it was really exciting because then we could reach across we met people from Prince George, and they're like, yeah. And so it's not as though nobody's better than anyone, but we are pretty neat. And that was beautiful to watch people who didn't know if they could believe that all of a sudden go, someone else thinks I'm cool. And you're like, yeah, but you can trust now. And that was a beautiful thing to just watch people get recognized for the hard work they had done. Not sure if they were allowed to say, did I do okay?
Yeah, absolutely. Again, I only saw a very small smidgen of it. So secondhand, I heard lots from my wife, Erin, who again went to all the plays. It sounds like it was an amazing week celebrating theater in BC. There was lots of different types of shows and different types of performances and sets and all this kind of good stuff. Congratulations, Ted, on being one of the leaders in making this happen here in Fort St. John. How wonderful that this came here, and it was such a great week. So good for you.
Thank you. And I think thank you for saying that. The one thing that I will say too is thank you to Fort St. John, because you guys showed up and you really helped us out. And I like that you said it was a celebration, because it's weird because it's a competition, but at the same time, we all walked today from last week going, that's how you did that? I'm going to try that. That's how you did that? Or, hey, when you come to Vancouver, stop at my place when you're in Fort St. John. So it was a neat, it was just a neat time to hang out and learn and to have fun.
Absolutely. All right, let's quickly talk about what's coming up next for Stage North. What are some things we can look forward to in the next few months?
Couple of big things. One, we have our AGM. So if you're like, I think I'd like to get part of Stage North. So in August, we host a barbecue. We feed you for free. And then we're like, stick around for a vote. So you can become part of Stage North that way.
Yeah.
Then in September, we have auditions for 9 to 5. So that's the big Dolly Parton musical. And
that's your directing, correct?
That's me.
Yeah.
Got a cool team. It's going to be great. We put that up in October. Sorry, making a mess.
You're so happy. You're gesticulating wildly.
And then right now, something that someone else in this room is part of is Peace Country Harvest, another Hallmark parody musical. So we had such fun doing the Christmas musical last year that Taylor and Ben wrote another one. And so our first show of the season will be in October around Halloween. And we just figured, hey, you want to come see a funny show about Fort St. John? Come to the theater and see this really cool musical. So they're rehearsing right now. So yeah, so you can join the scenes in August. You can audition to be on stage in September, and you can watch shows in October.
Mm-hmm. Any plans for workshops and kind of open mics coming back too as well, Ted?
Totally. That's a great, thank you for reminding me. Our guy who takes care of the building was like, this is great, but I want more people to build stuff. So he's actually proposed to show some like scenic construction, but like
very cool
ones. Yeah. So like we're looking at doing some like build a pumpkin. So that's to help people backstage. We are going to do more open mic nights where you can come sing musical theater songs. We're looking at, I can't promise and say we're going to do play readings and stuff, but our mandate as a board was to go, how do we get people involved without saying you have to sign up for a 3-month show?
Yeah.
So we are going to really try and push some workshops and things so that anyone can dip their toes in. Not 100% sure what that looks like yet, but I'm excited for the fall and for spring.
All right. And the best place to keep up to date on all things Stage North, follow them on Facebook, Stage North Theater Society. I believe they're also on Instagram. Ted, always a pleasure to have you here. Thanks for being here, sir.
Thanks for having me.
You're very welcome.
This community interview is supported by your Member of Parliament, Bob Zimmer. Stop by his office in Fort St. John at 9916 100th Avenue.